Well, welcome to Allen's Day. We are back at this motorhome 2005 Holiday Rambler by Monaco. Just got back from about a 2,500 mile trip from Green Bay to Mississippi. No problems whatsoever, but there's just a few more upgrades I gotta trying to get this thing close to perfect. So let me just show you a couple things that I did just before I went on the trip, and then show you a couple items that I gotta do a little tweaking and tuning up on before the next trip. Well, one thing that I did just before I left on our trip is I added some running lights down on the bottom here. We got one over there and one over there. These are flush mounted, and they're made by Rigid. Real good quality light. You can see the label on there. Just had to cut a hole out in the fiberglass and bolt them in and run the wiring. So the kit this comes with is, you can see the light here. It comes with the relays. I had to stretch out some of the wires a little bit, but I got these from Thoroughbred Diesel. They're a little pricey for what you think is two little lights, but they really do a good job. So where I got them, these are the driving flush mount lights. There's all your part numbers, and the scary part, there's your price. But you get what you pay for, and they did a real good job, and a noticeable difference other than just your standard lights here. So goes down into safety. Can't put a price on that. So got the lights on there. And then one other item that I worked on when I got back is there was a leak on my steering stabilizer, and I will get you under there and show you that steering stabilizer that I changed out. As you can see, I got this jacked up, got a jack under the front, and I did use the jack to lift up the motorhome, the leveling jack's underneath there. But always just make sure you put a jack if you're going to get underneath there. So with that steering stabilizer that I was talking about, this is the steering stabilizer right here, going all the way across. I had put this on here when I first got it, but the steering stabilizer, we had a leak in it. And then I contacted Safety Plus and told my concern what I had going on, and they sent me out a brand new steering stabilizer. Very good company to work with. They helped me out, so I highly recommend. This goes on any motorhome that's going down the road. Needs to have something like this on here. They're just not safe, especially the older ones. Even when you get into some of the older P30 chassis and designs, that's mandatory to have those. I had several of those P30 chassis. Not safe to go down the road just the way they are. So Safety Plus, and contact them. I did get this whole system. I think I ordered this on a Safety Steer. It's a company that has all these aftermarket handling parts, so take a look at that. Just a little note in installing this, there's a bracket that is under here, and that bracket comes all the way, it bolts into your bolts here, comes out here, and then you bolt your steering stabilizer onto it. Just a little note, when this long bar that they send with bolts on there, it was rubbing on the tie rod. So the way I had to fix it is I actually had to weld a bracket or a block between their bracket that they sent and the chassis itself of the motorhome. So chances are, if you install one of these, you may have to get in a situation where you got to weld this to stabilize this end here. So, but overall a good product. And now I'm ready for the next trip with this. One other upgrade that I made to the motorhome was I added, there's a kit that Source Engineering puts together, and it is for several different of these units. And here's what we got here is we got the Holiday Rambler Neptune, so I'm fitting right in between those years, but it comes with a ping tank, airlines, 4 airbags, and 4 shocks. Made a huge difference as far as the handling of this. And also it goes back to, this unit's got a little bit of age on it. Those airbags, when I took them out of there, the little weather checked, time to get replaced. So as long as you're replacing them, I recommend checking these guys out here. This little kit here, it's approximately $2,500 for the kit, and then you got a little bit of time putting it in, and it's not too bad, but highly recommended. Track these guys down, see what they can do to help you out to keep these things safe going down the road here. Talk to you guys later. Well, let me get you in here and show you a little bit about the driver's area. I told you on one of the previous videos I'd get a little more in detail, show you just a little bit more about what I got going on here and what I added into here. As always, USB ports. I added a backup camera in here, and this has been a real good addition to the motorhome. It's got a backup camera, side camera, and on here I added an extra switch to the bottom of it to the power, because then what you can do is you can see what is going on around your unit without having the key in there or it running. You just simply put power to this, and if you set it up right, you might be able to use it as somewhat of a security system, because it does record what's happening in these cameras. So literally, if you want to, you could just as you walk out, flip your toggle switch, and everything that's going around your unit is going to get recorded. So you have your backup, and then you have your left side, right side, and your front side. So this one's got 4 cameras on it. So good addition to the unit is that backup camera. Another thing I put in here just before the trip I left, I put in this CB. I don't know what I did wrong. Gonna have to look at it, but it did not work the entire trip, down or back. Couldn't get a hold of anybody. The reason I got the CB on here is also it'll help out when doing some backing up or turning or riding with somebody, because I've got a couple of walkie-talkies over there, and if I set those to a channel, set this to the channel, it's just a little easier to maneuver without having to hang on to the walkie-talkie. So I am going to have to contact the people from Midland, and they're going to have to walk me through what I have to do to get this thing to work. I don't know if it's my antenna or if I got something button shut off. It probably wouldn't hurt if I'd look at the directions and read them, but nah, we won't do that. Other things that I've done on here on this unit is I had set up a couple of extra switches in here. Now these motorhomes, they come with a warning buzzer if something happens with your system. So the coolant temp, oil pressure, alternator failure, low air, low coolant, anything that happens like that, there's a buzzer that's going to beep down underneath, and that's sitting right here. That gets pretty irritating. If you know what the problem is, instead of driving with the buzzer on there, what I have done is I put a switch that shuts off the warning buzzer, but the warning light that I hooked up with it is still red. So it's not like I totally disabled the warning system. I know that there's an issue in there, and I need to take a look at it and figure it out, what's going on. One of the problems I did have that I put that in there is the coolant temperature. It was pretty fussy, that when it got to just a certain temperature, it wasn't to the point where it was overheating, but it was warm enough for that buzzer to go off. And my wife did not like that buzzer going. I could just ignore it. I can tune things out like that. Not the wife, but the buzzer. And then also what I have on here is I put a backup switch on here that I have this wired to the rear backup lights, and then also this is hooked to the backup lights on the trailer. And whatever trailer I have, I try to put some good LED lights on the back, so when I get into somewhere and it's nighttime, I just flip that switch. I've got my backup lights working. I've got my trailer lights working. So I've got full floodlights to the back of the unit. It's just huge as compared to try to put it in reverse and all kinds of other things. So that's another addition. Some other additions that I've done in here. This particular unit comes with little or no gauges to tell you where things are at. And let me just turn the key on here. So I added a transmission temperature, and you can hear that buzzer beeping. I just shut it off right now, but yet that light is still on. I put a better voltage gauge in here so I can tell the voltage on the chassis batteries. And then also on the light switch for the main lights coming into the motorhome, I hooked up another gauge so that I can tell the state of both of the batteries just at a glance coming in. And then I can tell the difference between the house batteries and the chassis batteries to make sure that they are both charging either through solar or the generator. I can see which one gauge start going up, or the alternator, to make sure that we are charging when they're supposed to be charging. Some other gauges I got in here. I put in an EGT unit here. Oh, I know it's beeping over here. I've got the leveling jacks up, and it doesn't like it that I've got the key on and the leveling jacks going. So I got EGT. I put an air pressure gauge in here so you know how much air pressure you have for your emergency brakes. So got to have that. Water temperature gauge, just a little bit better one on here, and a better boost gauge. And the next step is I am going to cut and put another gauge in here, an oil pressure gauge. And these are all MaxTow is the brand that I've been using, and I've had pretty good luck with most of those gauges. So added some more gauges. There again, just a brake controller for the trailers. And then also what I've done on here is I've got fuse panels all over the place. as far as you can see up in there, I've got and this is the power on fuse panel, and then I've got a chassis battery on, and then also I have a key on fuse panel, so that you don't have to be tying into the wiring system of these motorhomes. Everything that you add into these motorhomes, any time you get a chance to put them on a brand new panel so that you're not tying into the existing wiring, it just makes life easier for yourself and also the next person that's going to be working on this unit, that they're not trying to figure out what you got spliced, and yeah, they can get messy in a hurry. A couple other things: put a holder on here for my cell phone. Big must. Did a little upgrading to the radio. Don't quite know how to use it. It's got a lot of buttons on there yet. But got a radio, CD, it's got Bluetooth and a few other things. Put a few speakers in here. And then I put a new seat in here just before I left. This is Pinnacle is the seat. It is just a real nice seat. It's got back support, side supports. It flips up and down. And then what I did is the pedestal that came with this, the original seat, had a swivel on it. This seat manufacturer does not make a swivel for it. So I just took and I put took the old swivel and I cut down and I modified that swivel. I shortened this up. I took about 4 inches out of here, but it's still a little too high. So the next step is this part, this filler piece right here that bolts in, taking that out of there and putting a piece of 1/2x2 aluminum flat bar. So I'm going to gain 1.5 inches that I'm going to be able to drop this seat down. That's just going to be in that comfort zone. And then also while I'm doing it, I'm going to move that seat so I can adjust it forward approximately about 2 inches or maybe even 3 inches, so that somebody with shorter legs than mine will have an opportunity to drive the motorhome. So that's tonight's mission, is work on the seat, take it back off of there. I already put it in once, and do the modifications to the base. Like I said, drop it down 1.5 inches and forward about 3. As long as you're going to be driving this, you better custom make it and make it fit you. So I think that's all I got to show you for today. I will come back when we have something else to show you on this motorhome. So thank you very much for watching what we did, and go back and take a look at some of the other videos if you've got one of these motorhomes or diesel pusher. Give you some good ideas on something that might work for you. So talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.